Okay, welcome to part two here of using imagery, raster imagery, and video. Again, I'm sort of grouping these two things. They're similar in the sense that they represent real world. They represent something you're going to take from the real world and use in combination with vector-based imagery, obviously, which Flash creates. And again, just to reiterate what was said in the video before, you are not required to use that trace bitmap. Again, if a rectangular or square image is perfectly fine, and you're going to sort of lay vector-based imagery on top of that, feel free to do that. This video is simply one, an exercise, and two, an opportunity for you to sort of see the possibilities of using things like this. Now, I ended the last video talking about this sizing. You cannot size imagery up unless you have traced it. Okay, if you don't, I think we all know what imagery looks like when it's stretched. If imagery looks like this or starts to look like this, pixelated because you've manipulated it, changed it, that is not good. I will dock points, I will note that and critique as sort of poor quality. If we trace bitmap this and create a vector-based imagery out of a raster-based imagery, we have much better chances of sizing that up. Okay, so I'm going to quickly delete that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in video. I'm going to provide you with this video, and I'll talk about why here in a second, but I'm going to import to the library. Okay, and I am going to go to my folder that has this, and it's just called clouds.flv. FLV is the video format for Flash. I will provide you with this. I'm also going to show you or post a place where you can convert video. So I'm going to hit open. You're going to get this import video thing, and you basically, it says where is your video file. It's going to be on your computer. You will have downloaded this in order to work with it. And you have two options. Load as an external video with playback component, or embed the FLV in the SWIFT. Now, the main issue here has to do with size. If you have a very long video that's very high quality, you're going to probably want to load it as an external video with a playback component. Okay. For short videos that I've compressed here and are smaller and are really just kind of background, you'll see that this is just sort of clouds moving through. We're going to embed that. That's going to make our video a bit bigger, our SWIFT a bit bigger, but that's okay. So I'm going to hit next. I'm just going to keep all this. We're going to include the audio, or no, I'm going to not include the audio. And I'm going to hit next and finish. Okay, you're going to see that this loads up as a Flash video. Okay, it is something that we need to convert if it is not in that form. I'll talk about that towards the end of the video in terms of how you might do that. Okay. Now, this thing has already been converted, so I'm going to go straight to my scene and I'm going to show you how I use this. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is extend out everything in my timeline to 110 frames. Okay, remember I have the ball rolling across. Maybe we'll just sort of set a simple scene. This ball is going across, and the one thing we don't have here is a background. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a layer, and I want this layer to be positioned as the last layer. The reason being is it's going to be behind everything. Okay, and I'm going to double click on this and call it Clouds Video. And I'm simply going to click on that first keyframe, and I'm going to plop this thing down. And the first thing it says is this video requires 671 frames to display its entire length. The selected time span is not long enough. Do you want the required number of frames automatically inserted into the timeline? I'm going to click no. Okay, and the reason being is that I'm just going to have this basically snip off at the end. Okay, and you're going to see as we move this timeline that video is sort of happening already. Now, since we don't have, and I'm just going to sort of quickly, whoops, turn off this video. Since we have a decent sized video here, this thing is basically taking up the entire space of the stage. That's fine. We can click on this and we can size it. It's pretty amazing in terms of what it can do, even though it is a video. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Now, one thing I noticed is this blob that I didn't clean up, and some of these little blobs that I didn't clean up are much more noticeable. This is sort of a reason to do a very, very good job of tracing out and getting rid of those background things, okay? Those background little leftovers, okay? For now, I'm simply going to sort of see how this looks. So I'm going to save this. Now, you're probably going to notice it's going to take a minute to export. Because we now have video in it. Okay. So you'll see we have the soccer ball going. And my soccer ball looks like it's stuck there on the side of the stage, so I'm going to fix that. Move that totally off the stage. Okay. Save. And let's take a look at this. Okay. So I have a still image. I have a lot of things going on here. I have a still image. Okay. I have a movie clip that's been created in Flash, and I have a background that's made of video. Okay, so how do we sort of think about these all together? I would really, really sort of encourage you guys to think about something like video as, you know, ephemeral background. I use clouds because it sort of creates scenes. It's easy to take a video like this. I do not want you sort of taking videos of your friend cooking an egg or throwing a basketball and then simply sort of plopping that video down into your project. Your project must contain sort of animated elements that you animate, not videos that you take and then simply sort of plop in there. That's not what this class is about, nor is it how I want you to use this. But can you imagine clouds? The belly video uses, and a lot of people sometimes don't notice it, uses waves sort of lapping up against the shore. These are things that can sort of add textural elements, ephemeral elements, and use them as such. It's easy to get an image of, let's say, or a video of, you know, the wind blowing through some leaves on a tree or branches on a tree, and using that as a background of which an animated character, an element, is sort of moving through. Okay, so please use that in that way. I'm going to pause the video for a second to grab this video converter page that I'm going to post on D2L because I just want to talk about it for a second. Okay, depending on what type of system you're using, specifically a Mac or a PC, please note that, you know, this is sort of up to you, but I'm going to post this. This is a convert to FLV. So imagine you take a video with probably your phone, maybe a video camera. You need to convert this to an FLV. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to upload your video, and then you're going to sort of basically change some sort of screen sizes. You can sort of set this to be 800 by 600 and basically convert the file. Okay, I'm not going to go through this necessarily. I think, you know, we have many different possibilities depending on the type of phone you're using, depending on sort of how the video was procured, but I'm just simply going to post this as a way to potentially use video. I cannot stress enough, you're using video as background, you're using video as a scene. You are not using video to simply take a video of something, post it on Flash, and call it an animated video. That is not what this is about. This project is about the mixing of these two elements, the real and the unreal. And I would say the real comes from potentially raster-based imagery. You have to include 5. Those are photographs you have taken and brought into Flash, and possibly, though not required, some video, again, as background. Think of the clouds in my example. You know, think of the water lapping on the sort of shore of the belly video. Think about the example I talked about, you know, sort of a wind blowing through trees in order to get what you need. Okay, so again, this exercise, you're simply going to have something that looks like this. I'm providing both the tree image and the cloud video in the background. Please follow along with the video. There is no step-by-step on this. I sort of loosen that rein a little bit because you should know what you're doing in terms of making a movie clip, creating motion tweens, etc. Again, the only thing you're probably creating is a ball. Make sure you add some feature to that ball so I know it's rolling around. Okay. So this one exercise is due next week. You should be working on collecting imagery for your real and Unreal project. Next week I'll have an exercise on sound that will be short, but address some of the things that have gone wrong with sound in the projects we've had thus far. Other than that, I'll be introducing Final Project again next week. Please email me with any questions, concerns, etc. Looking forward to seeing these projects in 2 weeks. Any problems with this exercise, please email me, visit me in my office hours, whether it's in person or online, in order to sort of clarify this assignment. Okay?